What's going on, wrestling fans? This is I, Steve Fall, and today is a special day. I'm not talking to just an author, a champion, someone who also hates Peppa Pig, according to interviews I've seen. How are you doing today, Becky?
I'm doing great, but Peppa Pig deserves it. She deserves the hate. She's very mean.
Why so mean, though?
She's mean. She bullies her dad, and she bullies her friends, and she's just a general little shit.
This is true. Now, I have seen you travel around with your child and Seth. The iPad. I have 3 children, 7, 4, and 1. The iPads are necessary to travel. If anyone knows, they're necessary. I'm a Wiggles fan. What are you actually enjoying when you're sitting there with your child watching TV?
Oh gosh, whenever it's movies, she's really into Toy Story. Oh, yeah. Toy Story number 2, that's her favorite. Moana, of course. The Lion King, going back to the classics.
Of course.
Yeah, all of the movies. Sometimes she watches stuff on YouTube. Yeah. The UB2B. That's what she started calling it. And that's I don't like that. There's a bunch of little precocious kids doing random stuff. I'm not big into that.
See, in my house, YouTube suddenly breaks sometimes. Oh, well, YouTube's broken. We can't watch it today, and they lose their minds.
Yeah. We just say you've watched enough YouTube for today. Yeah. But also, she's gotten really into live theater. Like on, well, I suppose it wouldn't be live, but like theater adaptations of, say, for example, Frozen or The Little Mermaid. Yeah, so that's been cool. I'm like, okay, this is art.
A little Disney on Ice always works too, right?
Yeah. But I'm happy that she's watching theater. I'm like, oh, you are cultured.
Good.
Little 3-year-old.
So, yeah, Peppa Pig, you are a bully, and it's true. But the line for your book signings, here we are in Boston now, but you've been everywhere, it seems, and the lines are forever long. How does it feel, though, when they come up to you, the fans, and just people in general, going, you are everything to me? Like, how does that make you actually feel? Because you're not just on TV as a performer, you are affecting their everyday life.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know. I don't know how to even sum up what that means. It's just kind of like, it's disbelief really in general, because you don't go out trying to change anybody's life. You just do the thing that you love, and you try to tell the stories that you love, and you're just trying to make your way in this world, and it affects people, and it inspires people, and that's awesome. That's awesome that can be the byproduct of following your dreams,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a core memory. I met Mick Foley when I was a little kid, and I interviewed him once, and I was like, dude, like the whole interview didn't turn into like, we're promoting this, we're promoting that. And I was like, when I was 13, I met you, and you had the championship before you won it on TV, and I was so confused, because there was no internet really in 1999.
Yeah, but and that's the cool thing, like, for me it was Mick, and if Mick didn't do what Mick does, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And it's cool that it has this knock-on effect and this butterfly effect of just following your dreams. And I think that's a great lesson for anybody to learn. Like, you think you're just doing the thing that you love, but if you do it and do it well and fight the good fight and for what you believe in, then it really has a positive impact on the world. And that's great.
Yeah, of course. And, WrestleMania also is coming up, and you are taking on Rhea Ripley. Last year, though, you were on a 3-on-3 match. It was you, Trish, and Lita versus Damage Control. Now this year, championship contender. How do you feel about that? You main event at WrestleMania 35, and then as time goes on, you have certain matches here and there. Then a 3-on-3 match. Now you're back in championship contendership. Does that matter to you, or where you are on the card based in matches?
No, not at this. Like, the thing is that it's that point where you become a star in your own right, that you don't necessarily have to be in a title match for it to matter. You're in a highlighted match, whatever that is, and so you look at the likes of Seth Rollins or Randy Orton, or sometimes they'll have a title match, sometimes they won't have a title match, but they're always strong features, and that's as important sometimes as a title match, especially when you're talking about women and representation and being seen as stars in our own right. I think far too often it's just relegated to, well, what are the women's title matches, and there's there's no storyline driven matches, which is the exception. When we think of how much we've moved forward, oftentimes we don't rely on our female stars as much as we would in terms of our male stars when it comes to just storylines. It's the title matches, but not necessarily just the personal things and the personal gripes. So being able to be in a match that's not a title match, I find that to be progress. I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Because obviously with WrestleMania, so many people want, Bianca Belair right now, as we're talking right now, doesn't have a match.
Yes.
And to me, mind-blowing when you think of things like that. When you look last year, SummerSlam, I was there. The press conference was filled with people questioning why you and Trish Stratus were not on that card. But yet I did see that steel cage match live and in person, one of the best matches of all time. How'd you feel about you and Trish's development, a little up and down, and then we ended on a high note?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it lasted for a long time. But when you think of the amount of physicality that we had, which wasn't that much, and to be able to have prolonged it that long, and Trish coming back after so many years and working with me, and then having one of my favorite matches of all time, and her doing some crazy stuff in that cage, like it was, I mean, it proves why she has the legacy that she does. We got snubbed on the Slammies.
Oh, wow.
That was bullshit.
Now, I have seen some of the categories right now coming up.
Yeah, like best match. And I was like, wait a minute, our match rocked. That was better than several of these matches.
I agree. Only match that I think belongs on there is Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. I do believe is on there. I was in Puerto Rico for that match, and that was incredible.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. But
I agree with the cage match, though.
Yeah.
You think of
should have been on there.
2023.
Yeah, I don't know who. Did you do it? Sure? Okay, all right. We're not going to body slam.
We're talking to someone on the corner who's holding all the Slammies in his hand right now, giggling and laughing.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You're just looking a little suspicious over there with all of them.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, that's not cool at all. Though one of the things coming up as well is the Bray Wyatt documentary, and I absolutely love Bray Wyatt. I think everyone loves Bray Wyatt, but obviously I know him as a character on television that affected my life and other people in general. What did Bray Wyatt mean to you?
Oh man, Bray was always one of those people that you look forward to seeing, because he had this just this warmth about him, and this kindness and this mischief in his eyes. Like, he had the most sparkly eyes you've ever seen, and that raspy voice, and his signature laugh, and his hugs. Like, he gave you the world's best hug. Like, there was just nothing but love, and you could just sit down and talk to him for hours about anything. And like, I remember the first time meeting him, and he was this huge star, and I was just an extra, and he just talked to me like an equal. And there's not a lot of people that did that, especially back then. And there was just goodness in him. He was good, and he was kind. And I told this story about how I didn't have a clue how to set up a table, and he spent a long time showing me. And then it was funny because I had a last woman standing match with Nia, and I couldn't set up the damn table, and I was like, oh, if only Wyndham was here,
You would have run out and helped him.
Yeah. Should have made Pat set it up, to be fair.
Yeah, Pat McAfee. He's I enjoy him. Him and Michael Cole have such a great combo. Because for years you had JR, Jerry Lawler, even Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, keep going. But like, Pat McAfee has brought something out in Michael Cole that I don't think we've ever seen, because for so many years...
I mean, Michael's always been great, too.
But he was compared to JR for like 15 years, and out of nowhere it finally flipped, where everyone's like, wait a minute, he is amazing, and we can accept this, so obviously you're a fan.
Yeah, but sometimes people, like, until you're consistently great over many years, sometimes people just take it for granted. They're like, oh, of course. And they don't realize, and Michael Cole has just been consistently great for just decades. I mean, the man has missed two shows in 25 years, 26 years.
Wow.
It's the man with all the Slammies that has all.
Yeah, hey.
That's all the info for everything else.
Don't drop all the Slammies, all right, buddy?
Go ahead.
All right. getting a little testy over here. There's a wrestling club, Kip Imp Middle School. Cody Rhodes actually bought them tickets to go to WrestleMania this year. And I asked a bunch of kids, have a wrestling club in middle school. I asked them, do you have a question for Becky Lynch? Of course they did. They want to know the match or moment that made you realize that you wanted to suddenly become a professional wrestler.
Oh, it was when I was 17 years old. Oh wait, as in that I watched that.
What made you suddenly you're watching on television?
Oh, there wasn't any.
God.
There wasn't any.
was
No. That's not how I became a professional wrestler. I just was looking to get fit, and like I was a fan of wrestling, but there was no match that made me think. When I started wrestling, I didn't think that I could be a professional wrestler. I was just doing it as a way to get in shape, and that's how I started. Because even thinking that I could have done it felt like way too far of a dream. So I just started to just exercise. And I thought, like, because I love wrestling, that would be a fun way to exercise. Because all the wrestlers are in great shape. And so if they're in great shape and I do that, then I'll be in great shape.
And it obviously worked out.
It worked out in the long run.
Yeah.
And, you know, it changed. I mean, it changed my whole life. But it wasn't from watching a match that I was like, oh, I want to do this. I was just a fan. I didn't think I could do it.
Wow. I think the kids will enjoy that answer because, you know, you are, again, like we talked about, people coming around the corners trying to meet you and get your autograph. And it's quite a moment to think that these children are all affected by just you in general showing up, being who you are. Obviously, a kind person, a great person. But Seth Rollins is involved with The Rock, and I heard a little conversation about, you know, Disney movies and Maui and all of that, and we have seen production value pick up in the WWE, new camera angles, blood, swearing, and is this the way you think it's going to go with Netflix involved, and obviously The Rock involved? He has caused a stir with people are really enjoying this wrestling is cool moment, but how do you feel about when he says wrestling is cool now?
Wrestling's been cool, right? Like, wrestling's been cool for a long time, and having him, of course, adds to it, and it's brilliant and it's amazing because he brings such a spotlight and he brings an extra layer of cool. But it was also cool before then, you know, too. Like, we've been doing some very cool stuff for a long time, which is very cool. Very cool. But I love that people are appreciating its coolness, and it's very cool to have The Rock back.
I agree. And Seth Rollins, of course, here's a picture we have seen circulate, and we've seen it in your book as well. You and Seth, championship belts in inappropriate places, possibly. Well, great places. You know, I have three children. You know, you have one, so you can figure out that math there. So with that pose, with that picture, did you know the internet was going to go berserker crazy about that?
Gosh, I suppose, yeah. I thought maybe, I thought people would enjoy it. I thought it was funny, you know, because I wouldn't post it on my own. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like just put that out there. But it's funny in the center of my book. Yes. You know. So. And it's just, you know.
Was it going to be the cover? Was it?
It had to, no. Never discussed as the cover.
Okay.
A different type of book, I think.
Yes, of course. Now, of course, you mentioned TNA on Ariel Wani's podcast, talking about how you almost wanted to go there because of the way that women were being treated. Now, with WWE Creative, how many women are on that group of people?
The creative team?
Yes.
Not very many. I think there's like... this stage, I think there's only one. Is there? I think there's only one. Yeah, just Alex, right? Yes. Yeah. I think there's just one.
So when you're getting a storyline, like for instance, I heard you talk about Evolution and the evolution. Well, Women's Revolution was created by a Vince McMahon or a man or something like that in that sense in the storyline.
Yeah, so we talk about that in the book where I thought that was stupid. You know, like I thought it was so stupid. Like, it's like, oh, we're freeing you from you. You know, like it was such a classical marketing thing that I just was like, oh, just give us good storylines and let us wrestle. You know what I mean? Like just we don't need to treat this as anything different. And I kind of go into depth about it in the book, about how when we started, it's like, the floor is yours. It's up to you what you do. Wait, what are we meant to do here? We're meant to wrestle? Oh, okay, cool. What are we fighting about? Evolution, revolution. Well, okay, what? What are we? It was just so. It was so poorly executed, and just didn't need to happen in that manner, in that way. But I suppose it was like the marketing thing, and yeah, it was not executed well.
Well, you bring that up because no one Googled your faction name when you were giving it to you. You, Charlotte, and Saraya Page, and it turned out to be a very dirty website. And I don't think that was one thing that blew a lot of people's minds. Of if you're gonna create something, you should probably Google it before you decide to make it Women's Revolution. Yay! Yeah. Oh, and by the way, your faction is a porn name by accident.
Yeah, no, I think the whole thing was just like it had. Here's the thing, right? Like it was very poorly executed, just overthought. Because the thing was, in NXT, we were just having good matches and having good storylines, and nobody was making a big deal about it. And at the time, I was kind of saying these things, but, you know, I also had to keep it to the point too. But what was I saying? It's been many days at this stage. Yeah, but the point was that all of it was done with good intentions, right? Like it was like, okay, we realized that people want this, they want to see us wrestle, and let's do this, and let's do it the best way we know how. Over the top, you know, and so like these things were done with good intentions, and so we can nitpick and we can talk about whatever, but look, like this is progress, this is change, and sometimes you're gonna make a mistake on the way, several mistakes, lots of mistakes. But eventually we'll get there, and you just have to work on it and iron out the kinks and continue to push the boundaries and continue to point these things out so that it can get better, and it has continued to get better over the years.
Yeah, again, you main evented WrestleMania, and then after that, Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair did that. Out of 10 main events, counting 40, there's only been 2 women's matches since 35 that have main evented. So that, at least they have main evented. But with WrestleMania coming up, you're taking out Rhea Ripley. If someone has never sat down on Peacock and watched WrestleMania, what can they expect?
From WrestleMania? I mean, they're talking about the biggest show of the year. Everybody's going all out. There's going to be surprises. Everyone leaves it all in the ring when it comes to WrestleMania. The matches are bigger, the surprises are bigger, anything can happen. When you think something's gonna go one way, it goes the other. Yeah, if that's your first introduction to wrestling, get ready for a ride.
Well, the ride that I think we all should be on is buying this book. That's called a segue, folks. So, you know, I've seen like 16,000 interviews with you this week. So
yeah, I've been all over.
You've been everywhere. You've been everywhere.
I'm shameless.
Becky Lynch, the man. Buy it. Not your average girl.
I'm not saying it just to buy it, like, because I'm like, I wrote it, but it's actually really good. Like, I wrote a good book.
And you were inspired by Mick Foley as well to write this too, because if you read his first book when I was like 12, I read it, and the first line is, I think it's like, oh, they ripped my effing ear off. And you're like, well, I'm in here now.
Yeah. And so Mick wrote his book, so I wanted to write my book, and there was no ghostwriter or nothing. It's all my words, and I'm real proud of it.
Now, he is, I think, written maybe 6 books now. So we need to add New York Times bestseller to yours coming up. Because, again, it's only been out for a few days, right? So we're already climbing the charts. People are wrapped around the building right now. Like, they're surrounding us. I can probably hear them in the distance chanting Becky. So, again, this book, what does it really represent? Because you could have easily waited till your career was over to write a book, like so many others that I've read. But you decided now, in a big moment, you have 2 months left on your contract in the WWE. This could be the book that ends that chapter and starts a new one. So what is the next step after this book?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm so excited about it because I don't know. Anything's possible, man.
Cyndi Lauper biopic.
That's what this book is about. Is that anything's possible.
Well, again, it has been such an honor. I could talk to you forever and ever and ever and ever, but I know you do have things to take care of here today. Signing autographs, meeting people, telling you how much you've changed their life. So the message to Rhea Ripley right now, if you had to tell her about her ass, sticking it in people's faces, what do you feel? Are you going to be sitting there in the corner waiting for that ass in the face, or are you going to be like, I'm going to kick your ass?
Yeah, no. That just sucks that we're talking about that.
I know.
That's
There.
Yeah, you know, like when I think of the amount of women that were at one stage fighting against that treatment, like that was what they were forced to do in 2-minute matches, and I kind of go, and maybe I'm just like stuffy and jaded because this is the stuff that I had to fight against. Of course, everybody loves it and it's cool and it's edgy, but if I'm a little girl sitting in the crowd, and if I have my daughter and she's seeing that and she's thinking that that's what she needs to be if she's a professional wrestler, and that's the stuff that's getting a reaction. And if I'm a girl who's growing up and wants to be a professional wrestler and I see, oh, well, that's the stuff that gets a reaction and that's the stuff that people are talking about and that's the stuff that we're posting on social media and we continue to, even the company does and pushes that, then that is the stuff that gets over, and then I'm not taken seriously for what I do in the ring and for the person that I am and the mind that I have. No, it's just about my body, it's about how it looks, and it's about fulfilling a bunch of men's fantasies out there in the crowd, and it becomes not about the art, it becomes about that. And I've fought so long to change that, and so I kind of go, when I'm talking about that and when I'm forced to answer about that, I go, that just fucking sucks. That just fucking sucks.
I agree on that. Well, hopefully we end on a happier note. Would you like to play rock, paper, scissors?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Rock.
Wait, is it shoot? Is it?
Oh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Boom.
You know what? We'll 2 out of 3.
I do suck at rock.
Want to try one more time?
I don't claim to be like a...
Well, I didn't say you were champion. Soon to be New York Times bestseller, world champion, main event of WrestleMania Royal Rumble winner.
It's all about overcoming the odds. So if I can overcome the odds here and like win, then that is a testament to the story. So let's see.
Can she do it, folks?
It's about trying, failing, trying again, failing better.
That's right. All right, here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, no. All right, okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, tie. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, my God. Should we get checkers, chess, sorry, guess who, any other game?
You know what? And sometimes you just fail.
Oh.
That's okay, too.
Do we learn that in the book as well?
No,
it's all triumph.
I eventually succeed.
You always triumph over evil.
No, I think I probably would fail many. I've failed many times. Many.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Good luck, because obviously we're gonna have a new champion, and of course, buy the book, folks. Buy the book. Thank you.